Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how I tint my eyebrows, and today I'm using the Mina henna, and I'm going to show you how I mix it. And what I'm showing you guys now, I'm showing you my utensils. I have brushes. I'm going to use a white pencil to outline, and I'm also using dark brown and black, and I'm going to mix the dark brown and black together to get the right color for my eyebrow. So here I'm opening up the dark brown packet, and I'm showing you what comes inside the envelope that's inside the henna package. You get about 3 satchels, I believe, and they said it's about 30 applications. So here I am using some leftover henna. This is in the black, so I'm just going to take some out, and I'm scooping it into the little cup there, and I want to mix that with some brown because I don't want it to just be black. So I'm going to mix it with the dark brown, and then I'm also in the other cup I'm going to mix just brown, just the dark brown, because what I'm going to do is I want my eyebrows to be darker from the outer portion of my brow, from the tail to the middle. I want that to be darker, and then from the middle to the end of my eyebrow, I want that to be lighter. I don't want that to be as pronounced and as dark as the tail. So to do that, I'm going to mix 2 different colors. I'm mixing the black and the brown, which I'm going to use on the tail, and I'm mixing the dark brown, which I'm going to use at the head of the brow. So here I'm just mixing, and what I figured out doing this process was that little tool that I'm using there, which is like a precise little, it has a little small Q-tip on the very end. That's a great tool to do touch-ups and to get in those very small areas of the eyebrow. Here I'm just showing you the Mina stain remover, which you can use that to lighten up your brow and to get off some of the henna in some places where you might not want it to show on your eyebrow. And the thing about mixing henna is you want to use mineral water or spring water. So that's what I'm using here, and I'm just using a few drops just to get a nice paste consistency. Okay, so I'm getting my applications ready. So next, I'm just showing you some of the other utensils I'll be using, like the cotton pad, the Q-tips, the precise Q-tips. And those precise Q-tips really help with helping to define the eyebrow. Okay, so now I'm starting off with a clean face, and make sure that you clean your eyebrows and get all of the oil and dirt off of your eyebrows before doing this application. So here I am actually outlining my eyebrow. And I thought about it midway that maybe I need to show you guys who don't do this, you know, how to measure, how to get the proper measurement for your eyebrow. So here I'm showing you where my brow should start by using the measurement of my nose, and that's where my brow should start at the top. That's where the head of the brow should start, and the tail should end there. So you use the tip of your nostril, and you measure out to the outer part of your eyebrow, to your eye. And it's going to give you that point that your eyebrow should stop. And now I'm just going to make sure that they are symmetrical. So I grab the eyebrow. This is like some string that you can use to mark off a straight line when measuring your eyebrows and mapping out your brow. So that's all I'm doing. I'm just kind of showing you how to get a straight line if you wanted to make sure that both the arches are going to be in the same places. So that's the point of the mapping string. So here I'm just outlining my brow in the white pencil, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the henna in the inside of the white. So the white is the outline of where I won't be putting henna. So I'm just going to map out that shape. And even though it looks a little messy, it does help to give you a guideline of where you want that henna to be and where you want it to stay. Okay, so that's the purpose of outlining in white, and the white is so I can see, because the henna is going to be dark, so you don't want to outline it with a dark pencil. And what I'm going to also do is I'm going to go in the inside of my outline and clean up some of that white pencil. And that's what I'm doing here. And I'm just doing that with a precise Q-tip that's been wet with a little water. So I'm going to clean that up so that when I do the application, it can go onto my skin and onto the eyebrow hairs, okay? So that's the purpose of doing that. So I'm just going to clean that up a little bit, and that's what I'm doing. And I'm just kind of measuring out, making sure things are lining up. And now I'm going in with that black and dark brown henna, and I'm starting from the tail. And the reason why you want to start from the tail is because you want that part of the brow to be the most pronounced. So that means that the henna is going to sit there the longest. So the way that I like to do it is I like to start at the outer part of my brow at the tail, and then I move from one side to the opposite brow and start on the tail on that side, so they both can be, you know, getting colored at the same time before I move on to the rest of the brow. So you're going to see me move to the next brow once I get that applied like I want. And what I'm using, guys, I'm using a very small, I'm using like an eyeliner brush. You know, the kind of brushes that have the very fine tip. This is not the slanted brush. This is that very fine eyeliner brush. And the reason why I chose that brush is because of the fine pointed tip, so that I can get in that small space to make my tail of my eyebrow. Then you see how I jump to the other eyebrow, because I want it to color and stain the outer part of the brow. I want that to get the most time to be stained so it can be the most pronounced. And another thing that I do is you'll watch me outline the bottom of the brow with the darker color, with the darker henna, because I want that to also be more pronounced. And as you can see, I'll go from one brow to the other. I don't just do one full brow and then I move to the next one. That's not the way I like to do mine. I like to do, do them at the same time. Now I'm going into that dark brown. That's the dark brown henna to complete the brow. And what I'm doing is, I don't know if you can tell with the video being sped up, but I'm actually like tapping the henna onto the brow and skin. Now I'm taking that precise Q-tip and I'm just dampening it with a little bit of that stain remover to clean up around the brow, to remove the pencil and also to remove any henna that may be on the brow, maybe on my skin outside of my outline. And here I'm just taking some of that stain remover on a Q-tip, and I am patting the head of my eyebrow because I don't want that to be so pronounced. I don't want that to be as dark as the rest of my eyebrow. So I just took the Q-tip and I am just kind of like smudging it and removing some color. And now I'm blending it because I don't want it to be, I want it to be a more gradient. I don't want it to be a hard stop with the color. All right, so now I'm just taking a wet cotton pad, and it's just wet with water. And I'm just removing the henna. and it's been about 12 minutes. It's been about 12 minutes. And that eyebrow looks really good. I do like the way that eyebrow came out. However, I do see some spots that I want to go back in and correct. So they both look pretty good. This one, I saw a little spot. I was like, okay, I got to go back in one more time and color it. So I'm going to apply the henna again. Now this time I decided just to use that little precise brush, which is great for touch-ups because you can get very small into very small detailed areas with that little fine brush. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just outlining the brow, and I'm going in with the dark brown and the black together. That's the dark brown and black henna mixed together. And I put, if you can tell, I put a little bit at the head of the brow, and then I took that brush, that spoolie brush, and I brushed it upward. I brushed the color upward. And the reason why I did that is because I want it to be more pronounced, have a more defined line at the bottom, and I want the color to fade more into the top. Now here I'm just going in with the dark brown and black henna, and I'm just doing some cleanup. And as you can see, I'm not bringing it all the way up at the head of the brow. I'm just keeping it very low because I'm going to take the brush and brush it up. And the reason for that is because I don't want it to be so dark, but I do want it to stand out, and I do want a pronounced straight line there. And I'm just going in and doing a little touch up. And as I stated before, this little brush is awesome for touch-ups. And now I'm just taking the spoolie brush and I'm brushing the color in, making sure stuff is blending. It looks very dark, but it's not that dark, guys. So now I'm removing it with the spring water. See how it has that nice line at the bottom? It gives it a very sharp look. See that? It looks really good. So I decided to go back in and touch up the tail of that one brow that was giving me a little problem. I just felt like I needed to go back in and do a little touch up on that brow. And that's all I'm doing. I just want to sharpen it a little bit more. So I'm doing a little touch up. As you can see, I'm not using as much henna this time. And I'm only going to let this sit for I think this application, I'm only going to let this sit for about 5 minutes. The great thing about henna, guys, is if you want your brows to look fuller and you don't want to go through the expense and also, you know, the healing from microblading or ombre brows, this is a great alternative. However, you do have to get this done more often. For me, when I do henna brows on myself, it doesn't last as long as most people. It may last for me maybe about 2 weeks at the most. They say it can last up to 6 weeks, which it does on some folks, but it doesn't last that long on me. It lasts about 2 weeks. But I'm not complaining about how long it lasts because I like the fact that when I don't have on makeup, it gives my brow a fuller look, which means it looks more youthful. Because as we age, our brows can start to thin out. And that's what's happening with my brows. I always had very thick, full eyebrows. It's always been like a signature of mine, is having a big, full brow. I've always had bushy brows. But now that I've gotten older and I'm in perimenopause, I'm losing eyebrow hair. So I had to come up with something. And wearing makeup every day on my eyebrows wasn't cutting it. So, and I didn't want to do microblading, even though I do provide that service. Microblading is not very good for oily skin, and I have oily skin. Ombre brows are better for oily skin, but I don't want to do ombre brows. So I am going back in one more time just to clean up that tail. I just feel like that on that brow, the tail is still not as pronounced. So now I'm going in with a razor and I'm going to clean up my brow. You can also, clean up your brow doing waxing, but I'm at home and it's just easier for me to pull out the razor blade and clean it. I've been cleaning my brows with a razor forever, so I can use a straight razor, and I can use the flexi razor, the flex razor like this, which I prefer the flex razor because I can bend it. So I'm just cleaning up my brow while the other side is sitting. I'm going to go ahead and clean that one too. So I'm just trying to multitask. So I figured while that's sitting there, I can go ahead and clean up around it. And like I said, guys, the henna brow is a great alternative to microblading or ombre brows because you can still get that look and you still get that full brow look without having to deal with the healing process of microblading or ombre brows. Now I'm just cleaning that off, and I'm just using the spring water to clean it. And I think it looks pretty good. I'm pleased with it. So I'm just drying it off and getting any excess henna off of my face. And now I'm just going in with a little oil and moisturizing my brow. And that's it. That's my henna brow. I hope you like it.